Welcome back. This is the big story, where we spotlight the defining conversation shaping the nation's political landscape. This morning, we turn our attention to the People's Democratic Party, also known as the PDP, Nigeria's foremost opposition party, now facing fresh internal tremors. Former Rivers State Governor and current Minister of the FCT, Nyesom Wike, is once again making the headlines, this time with a blunt warning to the PDP over what it describes as a dangerous political miscalculation regarding the zoning of the 2027 presidential ticket. In a series of sharp remarks during a recent event, Wike cautioned the party against zoning the ticket to the north, insisting it's the South's turn. He didn't mince words, stressing that ignoring equity and fairness could spell doom for the party's future.
So as expected, Wike's comments have reignited old tensions within the party and sparked fresh debate over power rotation, internal democracy and political loyalty. So this morning we ask, is the PDP heading for another stormy build-up to 2027, or is this a necessary conversation about justice and party cohesion? Joining us now to break this down are two key voices within the PDP. First is the apex leader of the Concerned PDP League, that's a CPDPL, Comrade Daboikiabo Z, Warmate. He joins us virtually from Abuja. Also joining us is Umar Sani. He's a party stalwart as well, and the former special advisor on media and publicity to former Vice President Namadi Sambo. Also, welcome, Sir Alhaji. Thank you so much for joining us, and good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning.
Good morning. I'm going to start with you, Comrade, seeing that you're from the South. And I would also ask, given your designation and position within the PDP, how do you interpret Wike's recent warning to the party on the issue of zoning? Do you consider it constructive or destabilizing?
Well, let me start by saying thank you for having me. And that of the FCT Minister, His Excellency Barrister Nyesom Wike's advice is very, very constructive. I think PDP leaders should commend him for his boldness to come out to speak the truth. And that is because looking at Section 73C, it is there in our Constitution. Wike just emphasizing and insisting on what is existing, fairness, equity, and justice, that the party should adhere to the policy of rotation of public offices and party offices. So there's no two ways about it, and that is why PDP went into the crisis we are facing today, because they refuse to adhere to the constitutional provision by zoning the ticket to the South. It is the pulse of the nation that the presidency should be zoned to the South in 2023. And now we're heading to 2027. The same FCT minister has started warning the party. What is wrong for you to come out and decide that the South will produce the president from 2007 to 2031, and it's not to produce the national chairman? That is how it has been done. It is in our constitution and it is our tradition. So it should be commended. I don't know why people think it is destructive. No, it is better to know before we go into the convention. That is the advice he has given the leaders. And I want to also, join him to advise PDP leaders in order to avoid what has happened in 2023. We should decide where the presidency should go. And the presidency should go to the South for the next 4 years. And the North can take the national chairmanship of the party. That is how it should be done. The North has had the presidency for 8 years from Buhari tenure. And today we are in, a Southern regime. How do you expect the South to support a Northern candidate when the North has taken 4 years? The party should be sensitive to the pulse of the nation. And what the FCT minister is doing is to make sure that the party does not fall back to the crisis we are experiencing right now, or the interest wrangling we are experiencing right now. I think that is what he's doing. And it's in that section. 730 of our constitution.
All right. Comrade, you support Wike's comments. You said that it's all about party constitution, and that's the right thing to do. It is a constructive instruction or advice from Wike. But let me ask you, Alhaji Sani, in your view, and given that you're from the northern bloc of the group as well, of the PDP, how are Wike's comments being received, especially his stance on zoning?
Well, let me say that first and foremost, we are not practicing politics of North and South. What we are practicing is multi-party democracy. And in multi-party democracy, political parties have their own rights to assign positions the way they do fit and the way they believe that it will be an advantage to them as to whether they will win the election or they will grab power. Now, Wike's comments coming from somebody who has clearly stated that he is going to remain in PDP and he will work for Tinubu in 2027 is clearly a missile directed at somebody within the PDP. It is not an honest advice to the party. It is intended to sway the party towards his own thinking, which is that he is going to support, he stands by Tinubu and he is going to support Tinubu in 2027. The PDP does not operate like that. The PDP is different and distinct from APC. The fact that APC ruled for 8 years of Buhari, it does not concern PDP. We work within our internal party mechanism. And if you take a look at the PDP, the South has ruled for almost 40 years, and the North has not ruled. Obasanjo has ruled for 8 years, Goodluck Jonathan has ruled for 6 years, and Umar Musa Yar'Adua has ruled for 2 years. Now, the North within the PDP is shortchanged. They are not. And as we are speaking, we are looking for credible candidates that have the capacity to win election for us. At this point in time, the issue of zoning, or whether the South should take it or whether the North should take it, should not even be paramount. Anybody who can win election for us at this moment, it is when you have the power that you now begin to decide.
Alhaji Sani, so if
as it is now, we don't have power. So why are people looking at zone? If you zone it, you are zoning it to who?
So Alhaji Sani, just to be clear on your line of thought, you are saying for now, irrespective of what the party's constitution says concerning zoning, it should be suspended and the focus should be on which candidate can actually get us there.
Hold on, I didn't say that the party's constitution should be suspended. What I'm saying is in line with Section 7 of our party's constitution. Because the party says there should be rotation, does not mean that we have the presidency and we are rotating it. We don't have it at the moment. If we have the presidency and we are the ones in power, when Obasanjo was there, when he completed his 8 years, the principle of rotation came into play, and it moved to the North for Yar'Adua to come in. Now there was an intervention. Yar'Adua died, and then the South continued. Now what we are talking about, the party does not, and I'm sure that the framers of our constitution didn't mean that if a northerner contested the last time and he was not successful, he is not entitled to contest. And for your information, from 1999 up to date, irrespective of zoning, our party has come out at all times through their guidelines to say that irrespective of zoning, you can contest. In 1999, Obasanjo was given the zoning was to the south, but Abubakar Rimi and some other people contested from the north at the primaries, and they didn't win because the party, in their wisdom, decided to vote for somebody from the south in the primaries as enunciated in the zoning. So it must be through a democratic process and not through an allocation.
All right, Alhaji Sani, thank you so much. Let me come back to of course, our other guest. I mean, Comrade, you've heard what Alhaji Sani said. Maybe you might want to react to a few things. But my question to you is this. You seem to sort of lend a voice to what the Minister of the FCT, who is a working minister under the current administration and still claims to be a strong member of your party, the People's Democratic Party. Looking at, this arrangement, he working for your opposition and still wanting to, at the same time, call the shots within your party. Do you consider that as a party, concerned party member, anti-party?
Let me start by first correcting some impression created by the other guest. It is very absurd for someone to think that Nigeria independence started from 1999. Nigeria independence started from 1960, and the North has ruled more than the South militarily and democratically. So it is a wrong or a fallacy, a political fallacy to say that PDP, the North, has been shortchanged. I want to correct that impression. And the second thing I want to correct is that the FCT minister calling for the presidency to be zoned to the South is not a sincere one. It is this same deceit they promoted in 2022 that led to what we're experiencing today in the party, because they use the word winnability. Why didn't they win the election? Why didn't they win the election? When they said, we are talking about zoning, they said, no, winnability, winnability, winnability. This is where winnability has taken us to, as against the constitutional provision in section 736. And that is what the FCT minister is hammering on, that let us follow our constitution and there will be peace. And coming to your question, that the FCT minister has said it severally. He notified his party in his ward, in his local government, in his state, and even suspended governor of the state, Similaye Fubara, and even notified the party that he has been called for a national service, and he is going for it. And he went for the national service. And he has been working and making PDP proud today. If you go to the mosque, if you go to the church, if you go to the city, everybody is shouting, Wike, Wike Z, where we never knew we had an FCT minister till Wike came on board. Which main party is Wike, does Wike belong? PDP. To the extent, even the president is threatened by the performance of the FCT minister and said, let not your party win all the seats in FCT. He did not only plead, he also used indirectly to threaten the FCT minister, because Wike has marketed PDP more in FCT with his performance. And we are just looking at what
is it really marketing the People's Democratic Party or the administration of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu?
Or the renewed hope agenda.
Or the renewed hope agenda. Sorry to cut in there. And I'm going to still stay with you on this, Comrade, because for many Nigerians observing what is happening within the People's Democratic Party, many that are, really passionate and keen, they will consider it a joke. We are beginning to see a lot of your members even defect to other parties because of this crisis. And some individuals, can be pinpointed as being maybe responsible for this crisis, and the party seems weak to do anything about it. What definite stand is your party making at reconciliation?
You could see that the party, let me make this clear, the party, the decamping of party members is not as a result of the FCT minister serving in the federal government that is led by an APC government. It is because of the poor management of the situation of the national secretaryship of our party, which, based on the constitution of our party, section 47.5 and section 48.1, and the Supreme Court pronouncement, Anyanwu remains the national secretary. But our governors, failing to recognize that, in breach and in flagrant disobedience to the constitution, appointed a acting secretary in the person of the deputy national secretary. That was what led to the decamping. But talking about what the party is doing, you could see the party in their last, the governor's forum, in their expanded governor's forum meeting, calling their former colleagues to come and meet, they set up a Saraki-led committee. Saraki is familiar with reconciliation. He has been a chairman of such committee before, and he has started, working. And the party is beginning to move towards peace and progress because of the work of the present leadership that is under Ambassador Damagu and Senator Anyanwu and the Saraki-led committee. Let me make something clear. Our leaders in the party are doing their best. But you should also understand we have members and leaders that have inordinate ambition. Just like our former president said, he said, some of them, it is easier to wake somebody that is truly sleeping than someone that is pretending to sleep. Some of our leaders, because of their inordinate ambition, they are pretending to sleep.
Which of these leaders? Just give me a sec. Okay. Comrade, I want to ask you a question. Comrade, you're from the South block of the party, right? And we know that the former president, Goodluck Jonathan's wife, Dame Patience Jonathan, has said that her husband will not be running for 2027. He's not taking the matter, and he fully supports a renewed hope agenda by this presidency. And so I have to ask you, if this zoning was to go to the South, who is a viable candidate? Give us names that can take that mantle and can win an election come 2027 in the PDP. Who?
So we have viable candidates. We have the former president, His Excellency Goodluck Jonathan. We have the former governor.
He's not running. His wife said he's not running. He says he's not going to run for office. He said he's not running. He says his wife isn't going to run for office.
We have the former Akwa Ibom State governor. Who said he can change his mind. We have people that can contest and win this election. We have a lot of materials. Materials is not our issue. People that can contest.
That's what I'm trying to get to. That's what I'm trying to get to. Because all of the individuals, just a second, please. All the other guests that we know, or rather all the other individuals that we know that are in the party, that are from the South, seem to have thrown their weight behind this presidency. Every single one of them, whether it is Wike, whether it's Goodluck, whether it's the Senate President, whoever, Ifeanyi Okowa, everyone seems to have either decamped to the APC or are in the APC or fully support the APC. So who is this person that is in the PDP that they can zone to for 2023? Do you think it's Wike? I'm coming to you there, Alhaji Sani.
No, we have mentioned names.
That question was for. I'm sorry, Comrade, just a second. That question was for Alhaji Sani. Alhaji Sani, do you think that Wike is gunning for a ticket to run for presidency for 2027?
Well, not that question, but let me reference what he earlier said. Please permit me. Number one, he talked about Nigeria started since 1960. Nigeria didn't start since 1960. Nigeria had been existing even before independence. We only got independence in 1960. And we are talking about the Fourth Republic. We are not referencing any republic. We are talking about what is happening in the Fourth Republic. So let us limit ourselves to the Fourth, because you don't have control over the military. The military have their own system, and they do it through coups. If the Oka coup has succeeded, they will have been in power. And it's just their internal working. Now, coming to your question as to whether there is any candidate, if you look at what Okowa said, he said, during their last campaign, that his area was more prone to a Saddam, and that's why he came back to APC. So if everybody within the PDP are now in the South are thinking in like manner, how then can you be sure that any candidate you give the position will be very serious as to prosecute that campaign? We know we have politicians, and our party did not have any problem because of national secretary position. The problem we had were all orchestrated by Wike. first and foremost, it is Wike who put in the national chairman, Iyocha Ayu, as the chairman of the party. Now, when the man did not support him, he now went against him. And when he went against him, he ensured that a court removed him. And when he was removed by a court, we had an acting national chairman who has been acting for a very long time and has not called for any meeting whatsoever. And so party supporters were very worried that we have an acting national chairman who is afraid of a next meeting because he doesn't want to be removed. He wants to stay permanently. Now, the same problem that Wike brought in, he instigated them to go to court to get an order from a court that a party chairman should not be removed until he finishes his tenure, which means that even where the party chairman has been found wanting in accordance with our party constitution, that person should not be removed because there is a subsisting court order that gives him that cover not to be removed. Again, we have the weakness of the whole thing is that what Wike put in is what he is fighting. You are the one who, Atiku or any other person didn't put he even mentioned it, that he was the one who put Iyocha Ayu. And then he has the support of Damagu, but now Damagu has backtracked and he called the National Working Committee stupid in one of his media parties. So Wike's outbursts are much more personal than providing credible and honest advice to the PDP. And I can assure you that the PDP is not divided over the Supreme Court judgment. The Supreme Court judgment is very clear. SK Okoye won at the State High Court. He won at the Federal High Court, at the Court of Appeal. When he went to the Supreme Court says no, that the political parties, that those judgments are being set aside because these things are now returned to the political parties. The political parties should sit down and do their it is not justiciable to sue a political party. You can't sue a political party. They have their internal workings and they should resolve it within their internal provisions. And the PDP now went back to the drawing board. And in going back to the drawing board, the PDP now agreed clearly that the matter should be taken to the Southeast Caucus for them to now bring in a replacement, because Anyanwu has already, once you go to contest, you have already left your position. Once you leave your position, you can't come back after losing.
All right.
Paraventure, he wins, and he is the governor. Will he come back and become the national secretary?
Okay.
The position is vacant.
All right.
So since the position is vacant, there is the need for somebody to take over that position, and our constitution, section 47, subsection 6, is very clear. It is the Court that will now meet, decide, and bring somebody as a replacement, and that person will now be fixed in as. So since the Supreme Court has refused to give him that leverage that he got at the State High Court and at the Court of Appeal, the thing has been taken back to the Southeast Caucus, and the Southeast Caucus has met, and they have represented his name.
All right, Sani.
I think the party has followed all due process in what they are doing. So I think for anybody to say that defections are merely because of National Secretary, the person is not being sincere.